We are back with another part of Escape from the Turnabout, Relived Turnabouts. Those 25 minutes. Alright. Continuing straight off from the last video, this is last frickin' testimony. Huzzah! I know, 'cause I did this before. Huzzah! That music though! But I didn't do anything wrong. I left the room to, well, look for something, let's say. I didn't want to talk about it because it's kind of embarrassing. That music bugging out though. Must be a certain reason. I don't know where. You aren't even going to attempt to defend yourself here, are you? Mr. Edgeworth, you don't actually think I'd... Seems like Maya has the same question in mind that I do. He's acting like he really thinks Maya might have done it. Edgeworth, just what are you trying to do here? Miss Fay, I'm afraid that kind of testimony does you no good. If you can't give us more detail than that, then I may just have to render your verdict here and now. Your Honor, wait a minute. I still have to cross-examine her. To be honest with you, Mr. Wright, I'm not sure if there is much there to cross-examine. But if you think you can find something, I'll give you the chance. You may begin. Need a drink. I need a drink. Alright. Bleh. It's alright, Maya. Just tell us the truth now. Perjury may be alright with you, right? But with me, it's against the law. And personally, I think it makes you look a lot more suspicious as well, Miss Fay. But I didn't do anything wrong, I swear. Just calm down, Maya, and explain yourself. What were you doing during those 25 minutes? I left the room to, well, let's look for something, let's just say. Look for something, you say? Your Honor, I have to request that the defendant give more detail than that. Agreed, Mr. Edgeworth. Miss Fay, if you do not explain yourself soon, then my verdict must be cast down. She's getting to that, Your Honor. Give her time. Embarrassing? Yeah, because it's childish. I don't care if you are trying to get SpongeBob SquarePants' phone number. You will tell us what you were doing. Well, you see, I tend to believe things that are told me when they aren't normal. I'm, not sure if I follow. Well, just here. What is this? It's a book of mysteries I bought a week ago. One chapter in it talks about a buried treasure chest next to the prison building. So during my stay, I went outside to try and dig for it. Duh. Are you screwing with me? Buried treasure? You went out to look for buried treasure? That may be the weakest excuse I've ever heard in all my years of prosecution. I have to agree with you, Mr. Edgeworth. It sounds like a very weak argument indeed. Your Honor, before we proceed any further, may I make a request? A request, you say? What do you have in mind, Mr. Wright? Your Honor, may we please add this little book of mysteries to the court record? This book? Mr. Edgeworth, what are your thoughts on this matter? The prosecution has no objections to this request, Your Honor. He doesn't? That's surprising. Very well then. The court accepts this book as evidence. But I warn you, Mr. Wright, if this doesn't prove useful, there will be consequences. Understood, Your Honor. Go. Now, back to the matter at hand. Miss Fay, do you really expect your explanation to hold up in court? Digging for buried treasure. Honestly. Yeah! Edgeworth. I really don't know what your intentions for the trial are. You and me both know that Maya would never commit such a crime. Don't mind me just fixing my earbud. How could you ever think otherwise? Don't think for a moment that I am enjoying this trial, right? It's true I'd never predict Maya to do such a thing, but I can't allow bias to blind me. What I'm looking for today isn't the result that best suits me. What I'm looking for is the truth. You want the truth, huh? Well, here's the truth. I can prove my statement to be accurate. What? Sorry about that, YouTube. You're saying that you have proof that Miss Fay actually was digging for treasure? Well, what are you waiting for? Show it then. Da 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 da. Take a look at this. What's this? It looks like a handle of some sort. That's precisely what it is, Your Honor, and more specifically, it's the handle to a shovel that I found just outside the prison building. Oh, what? Mr. Wright, are you trying to say that that handle is from the shovel Maya used on her little expedition? Precisely. Why wasn't this brought to my attention? The police didn't think it was related to the case, so they just left it there. But I had a feeling it would come in handy in today's trial, so I submitted it as evidence earlier this morning. Wait just a minute, right? True, this does make the defendant's story seem more likely, but it doesn't prove that she didn't commit the crime. What's more, if a fingerprint analysis proves her to be a user of this shovel, that effectively proves that she was at the scene of the crime. Order, order, order! Crap, I didn't think of that. Wait. So you see, Your Honor, if anything, this shovel could be seen as evidence against Miss Fay. You see this puts the defendant at the scene of the crime? I disagree. Excuse me? Oh, you heard me, Edgeworth. If anything, this puts my client away from the scene of the crime. What? And just how do you figure that, Mr. Wright? How do I figure that? Why, with evidence, of course. Very well, you may present your evidence, Mr. Wright. Just take a look at this. The book! Huzzah! It's a good thing you allowed this book into the court record, Your Honor. Without it, this would have been a lot more difficult. The book? And just how does this book help prove Miss Fay's innocence? Again, it's pretty simple when you look at... I would like to direct the court's attention to this page of the Book of Mysteries. From the right side of the prison building, take 10 paces north and begin your quest. But how does it help us? It doesn't until you look at this. The crime report, Mr. Wright? Take a look at the location of the explosion, Your Honor. On the left side of the building. Ah, that's right, Your Honor. The explosion occurred on the left side of the building, but this alleged treasure is on the right side of the building. Grr. And before you ask, yes, I did indeed find that shovel handle on the right side of the building. She could have just placed it there to back up her claims. That doesn't prove her innocence at all. I'll concede that it does not prove that she did not commit the crime, but what it does prove is that the shovel does not link my client to the crime scene like you claimed. It would take less than 5 minutes to get to the other side of the building. This proves nothing. Quiet, both of you. Mr. Wright, I agree that this does seem to point to my being opposite the crime scene. But Mr. Edgeworth has a point. This still proves that she was indeed outside the building at the time of the crime. And it wouldn't take long at all to trek to the other side. I'm afraid this only looks bad for your client, Mr. Wright. I knew you'd see it my way, Your Honor. Once again, Miss Fay is the only one that was in the building that does not have an alibi, and we now know that she was outside the building at the time of the crime. In short, she's the only one who could have done it. It sure does look that way. You sure about that, Your Honor? What do you mean by that, Mr. Wright? Well, it's just that, when you think about it, my being capable of committing this crime doesn't make a lot of sense. What are you getting at, Wright? Well, I can explain it, but I think it'd be easier to just show you what I mean. Huh, that looks familiar, but I'm not quite sure what it is. It was submitted into the court record less than an hour ago. Your Honor, don't you remember this? Don't you remember? It's a grenade that Edgeworth submitted just a short time ago. Grenade? Mr. Wright, are you trying to blow me up? Don't give me any ideas. Not that kind of grenade, Your Honor. It's a smoke grenade. Smoke grenade? Mr. Wright, are you trying to choke me to death? I think I'm about to have an aneurysm. Your Honor, this smoke grenade is evidence. It was thrown into the room directly after the explosion, to give the escapees their cover. In other words, this smoke grenade was one of the keys to this entire crime. But I'd like to point out something. In this day and age, a smoke grenade is not very easy to come by. You can't just walk into a store and buy it. I got one! No, Your Honor. In order to have one of these, you need to have a certain ranking. Only police departments or army camps would have access to this kind of thing. Wait a minute, Mr. Wright. You aren't trying to accuse a member of the police force or a soldier of this crime, are you? That's not what I'm saying at all, Your Honor. All I'm saying is, my client couldn't possibly get her hands on one of these things. Order, order, order! Mr. Wright, that is a very convincing argument. Mr. Edgeworth, your thoughts? Good, I think that's enough to buy us a day. Edgeworth's next move will probably be to put forth the possibility of an accomplice from inside the LAPD, but figuring out who that would be would likely take him a day. So the trial will be suspended. I can investigate the crime scene more, and then prosecution rests. What? 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 You heard me. Prosecution rests. You've bested me today, right? I humbly admit defeat. Mr. Edgeworth, I've proceeded over a vast number of your trials, and I've not once heard you utter the words prosecution rests. I think I get it now. He never suspected her either. He knew she was innocent all along. He just wanted me to prove it. He wanted me to clear her name, Edgeworth. Thank you. Well then, I am now ready to declare my verdict. This court finds the defendant, Miss Maya Fay, not guilty. Huzzah. Do, do, do. I shall split it here, YouTube. I shall, start a new video here for the ending. Shall see you in the next video, YouTube. Goodbye.